So, emotional abuse is one of the more common forms of abuse that uses behavioral or emotional tactics to gain a sense of control or to maintain the upper hand in a relationship. So, saying of the day is familiarity breeds contempt. The more somebody think they know you, the more they think they can say to you. This training is for educational purposes only and is not intended to offend or trigger anyone listening. This talk is created so that anyone who sees themselves in these behaviors can use this information to improve their relationships and lives. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, substance use or abuse, or suicidal thoughts, dial 988-988 is available 24/7 nationwide and staffed by trained crisis counselors who are just a text or a call away. With that said, 7 signs you are emotionally abusive. Have you ever put someone down for their appearance or intellect? We all did it as kids. We used to pick on kids who was on welfare and you on welfare too. Making fun of somebody because you saw them in the store with some food stamps, but your mama be spending food stamps too. But the thing about that is, the bad part about that is that we got people who are adults who get off on this stuff. Emotional abuse may be subtle and hard to recognize since it often gets swept under the rug as just a part of normal disagreements. So, 7 signs you're emotionally abusive. Number 1, you think insulting others is entertaining. You think insulting others is entertaining. Here we go. Have you ever made a joke with the intention of hurting the person you're making fun of? Did you ever make a joke with the intention of hurting the person you're making fun of? While family and friends may enjoy playful banter with each other, teasing and playful put downs can end up crossing the line into emotional abuse when the jokes become tasteless and aggressive and used intentionally to send a negative and hurtful message to the other person. This especially applies when you continue teasing the person or brush it off as only a joke, even though they've asked you to let it go and that your comments have been hurtful. If anybody tells you, man, stop joking with me all the time, stop making fun of me, stop playing with me, you emotionally, it's affecting them emotionally. Because if you got a real true friend, y'all can make some little underhanded jokes with each other and still be cool. But you're going to know when to do that. You ain't doing that to hurt your friend's feelings. You're just doing that because you got a relationship with your friend. I can talk to you like that. You can talk to me like that because we know we love each other and we know we just joking. But if your mom just passed away, if you're dealing with something in your relationship, I'm not coming around you joking like that like we usually do. Because my intent is never to hurt. That's what you got to look for. If the jokes are intended to hurt. And even though it might be funny, does it hurt the other person? And if it does, you're being emotionally abusive, even if you think it's funny. Because some things that we might do to other people, we will flip the script if they did it to us. I'm just being real, man. Sometimes you gotta, whatever you're saying, whatever position you're taking, sometimes you gotta look at, wow, would I like that to happen to me? Or would I want that to be said about me? And then that'll tell you whether you should say it or not, oftentimes. You think insulting others is entertaining. Have you ever made a joke with the intention of hurting the person you're making fun of? Well, it makes no difference what you think about it. It's about perception. And to you, it might be a harmless joke, but if it's hurting that person, leave them alone. Number 2, you dismiss other people's feelings. You dismiss other people's feelings. Have you ever purposely ignored or dismissed how someone felt because you thought they deserved it? Everyday life can sometimes be so hectic, you lose sight of what's happening in other people's lives. Here we go. Everyday life can sometimes be so hectic, you lose sight of what's happening in other people's lives. After all, you can't know how your loved ones are feeling all the time. But not recognizing someone's feelings may become emotionally abusive when you tell them their feelings are wrong or that they have no right to be upset. This psychological invalidation of brushing someone's feelings off are irrelevant or dramatic can lead to feelings of rejection, alienation, and depression. 7 signs you're emotionally abusive. Number 3, you get off on embarrassing others. You get off on embarrassing others. Do you bring up someone's embarrassing moments to make them feel guilty or ashamed? The question is, Do you bring up someone's embarrassing moments to make them feel guilty or ashamed? Have you ever humiliated someone out of anger or because you feel threatened? It's one thing to laugh about the past moments in a fun and loving way, but this may quickly become emotional abuse when you go out of your way to humiliate them as a way of punishment or a reminder that you are the one in control of the relationship. Humiliating someone in front of people or when they ask you to back off can be incredibly damaging for their mental and emotional well-being. Number 4, if you're not pushing buttons, you're not happy. Somebody who just loves to push buttons. If you're not pushing buttons, you're not happy. Did you know that constantly doing and saying things to get others to react is also a form of emotional abuse? Doing unpredictable things to keep the other person on their toes can be a form of emotional abuse. Instead of becoming spontaneous to do things you both enjoy, you may use this unpredictable tactic to say or do things to purposely anger or upset the other person, especially when it's done in front of other people. This may include broadcasting a secret they told you in confidence or making social media posts you know will trigger them. That's pushing buttons. 7 signs you're emotionally abusive. Number 5, you tell people their version of reality is wrong. So that means you are a gaslighter. You want to tell somebody that their version of reality is wrong. Have you ever dismissed someone's experience as imagined? Gaslighting is a psychological term for invalidating someone else's reality, and it involves intentionally using someone's words, using their feelings or their actions against them. The goal of a gaslighter is to completely discredit anything the other person has to say so the gaslighter can maintain control of the relationship and the narrative. This may include telling them they are crazy, accusing them of lying, or having a bad memory. That's what a gaslighter is. 7 signs you are emotionally abusive. Number 6, you use your emotions to get people to do what you want. You know how to act all sad to get people to feel sorry for you. Tell a lot of sad stories. I've been through this. I've been through that. I went through this. I did that. Like you just stick yourself up on the cross. That's all. Jesus. Because everybody done went through something. Every human being in this building, every human being outside of this building, every human being in the world has gone through something. It ain't about what you've been through. It's about what you're doing about it. Have you intentionally made someone feel guilty just to get your way? Expressing your emotions can be great for your mental health. Yeah. Appropriate self-expression facilitates open communication. However, unleashing your emotion becomes destructive when you use it to manipulate another person. This may include impulsive shouting or screaming, using threats or ultimatums, blaming them for fights you started, or using information they've told you in confidence against them to maintain control and power over the relationship. 7 signs you're emotionally abusive. And final one, number 7, you use your silence as a weapon. You get mad at somebody, I don't fool with them. I'm like that too. But I'm the type of person, if I don't fool with you, if I ain't fool with you in a while, I still got the door open. I ain't gonna never close the door on no family or no friend. I mean, the door will be open. But whether I walk through it, one thing I'm not gonna do to keep somebody in my life is forfeit my dignity. Because I don't need nobody to validate me in this year of my life. I ain't mad at nobody in my past. I'm not blaming nobody in my past. I cut ties with that crap a long time ago. 7 signs you're emotionally abusive. And the final one, you use your silence as a weapon. Are you the type who deals with conflict by shutting down? Have you ever used the silent treatment on others to get what you want? Emotional withholding, a form of emotional abuse that involves using affection, validation, love, and praise against someone, is a form of emotional abuse that includes the silent treatment. Although it's normal for any relationship to go through periods of silence, it may be abusive when you start to use it as a way to punish, control, or manipulate. Withholding affection or positive emotion via the silent treatment is a toxic way to gain the upper hand in any relationship. This also includes talking to everyone about the issue except the person you have the issue with. So you're going to give a person a silent treatment because you don't want to talk to them about what's going on or what the issue is, but you're telling everybody else. And then information oftentimes gets misconstrued when people repeat what we were saying. Now you have a whole different conflict. Oh, he talking about me. When the thing is, if you're not going to tell the person you're having a disagreement with, you shouldn't tell nobody. This also includes talking to everyone about the issue except the person you have an issue with. Emotionally abusive people only want you to feel bad or guilty all of the time. And whatever they can do to get you there, they'll do it. 7 signs you're emotionally abusive. Number 1, you think insulting other people is entertaining. You dismiss other people's feelings. Number 3, you get off on embarrassing others. Number 4, if you're not pushing buttons, you're not happy. Number 5, you tell people their version of reality is wrong, which means you're a gaslighter. Number 6, you use your emotions to get people to do what you want. And then the final one, number 7, you use your silence as a weapon. Wow. Does too. I agree. A giant baby wanting to be birthed. Y'all birth, they birth babies, y'all. That's where that come from. Y'all look at me like I'm crazy. Questions, concerns, comments? If we ain't gonna do this today, go ahead.
I'm guilty of most of that myself.
Okay.
But I thank God I'm not that guy no more.
Good.
And I wish I knew this when I was married, because I used to kid around with my wife, you know, say things, put it down in a, you know, funny way or whatever.
Put it down in a funny way, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I was so messed up in my mess, I didn't realize that, you know? And now that my head's clearer now, and I'm like, I was an idiot. You know, I realized that I was an idiot, you know? And I mean, I'm not blaming her for everything. I mean, it was 50-50, you know? But I'm glad I'm learning this, because now I can move forward.
What you up for, man?
I have issues with sitting for too long with my back.
No, I'm glad I'm learning this, because I can understand not to do this anymore.
Right.